I was born here in Iowa.
There is a small town mentality to some degree, you know.
Here you know everyone, and sometimes it's good, but it can really also be bad.
If you have a certain name, you have a little bit more support.
Bullying in this town has been going on a long time.
And all three of my children were bullied here.
I'm sure everybody knows that it goes on everywhere, but nobody says anything about it.
I was really short and really fat. It all started the day that my gym teacher said to run the mile, and I couldn't do that. I had people say, "Jacob, you're so fat," or my favorite, "Jacob, next time you run the mile, I'll bring you a Big Mac to fasten you up." My guidance counselor told me to do track because she was the coach, and she pushed me, and I actually started growing, and my belly disappeared. They couldn't bully me because I was fat anymore. Then, in 7th grade, I went on a field trip. It was then in the movie theater that my best guy friend, grabbed my hand. And I've dated a lot of girls, I know, it's weird. When they wanted to kiss me, it was like literally like kissing your grandma. It was just disgusting. And so when he held my hand, it didn't feel like, I was kissing my grandma. And it just felt like naturally it came to me.
Jacob started dropping little hints to me as, what I would think about as far as homosexuality or two men or things of that sort. It was just subtle hints.
I told my mom, I sat her down and I said, I was really nervous and I was trying to build up the courage to say it, and then it came out all at once, "Mom, I'm gay."
I kind of knew before the talk, to be very truthful, and I didn't want to say anything because I felt in his own time he would come to me.
She didn't say anything for like the longest second in my entire life, and then she said, "Jacob, I support you. But what do you want for dinner?"
I wanted to make sure at that particular moment that I said the right thing to him because I wanted him to know that everything was okay. I accepted him for who he was and loved him no matter what.
When I first found out that Jacob was gay, it never changed anything. I mean, Jacob is Jacob, Why should a sexual preference make a difference? It shouldn't.
Finding out that that was part of the way you're born, it was quite easy for me to accept.
Like, it'd be different, or it'd be weird if Jake wasn't gay.
How could you not love that kid? Really, I mean, how could you not?
So the family was very accepting of who he was, and he was able to be more relaxed around us. It was not, he had to pretend that he was something that he wasn't.
Having like that relief come off me of my mom supporting me, I then told my best friend. I thought that was the next step, and she ended up telling a lot of my friends. I told the whole school. So then I was outed, and now I had guys pretend to be gay, and they would hit on me. And the whole week I first came out, I never heard so many fag jokes my entire life. And I had guys look at me weird when I went to the locker room, like I was just out to get them all. Freshman year, I was called out for being a fag on Facebook, and said that I was, how they wanted to beat me up to rearrange my face.
He became more withdrawn, and he became more angry. This wasn't my son who I knew. He started talking about kids saying things at school, that there was genitalia that was drawn on the lockers, or people would say things to him, or that he didn't really have very many friends, and he didn't feel that he had a place, that he felt comfortable, a support system. And there was times where he felt afraid to go to school.
I'd start texting those boys that were messing with him and Facebook them. I'd always make my statuses, or sometimes I have some of the teachers on Facebook and I'm like, "Is this really happening? And you're letting this happen? Come on, this is pathetic, do something about it."
I was trying to find outlets that I belonged to, and I found the drama and the speech people, and they actually protected me. So my friends that I just made walked me to every single class just to make sure I was safe.
I told Jacob about cheerleading and how it might be like a better environment for him, because it was for me. Like after a while you don't realize it's happening anymore because you have like a totally different family to spend time with, and they'll support you because that's what they're there for.
I started calling the school, and then I would go meet with the school, and they would tell me that they would take care of this and everything would be taken care of in a matter of a couple of weeks. Well, in a couple of weeks I would be back at the school, you know, and nothing was being done. And it was basically a Band-Aid over it until it got to the one point where when Jacob didn't want to get off the school bus and he didn't feel safe and he didn't want to walk the halls. He didn't want to be by himself because kids were saying things to him. And that was when I was back at that school again, and still nothing was done. And then that's when I went to the school board.
She actually made a anti-bullying page, tipped in against kids being bullied, and she handed out flyers with my my name on it and her name and her cell phone on it.
Phone numbers that they can reach out to, as far as what the state law is, as far as when reporting bullying, what the school's obligation was. I have all different types of files on there, so there should be no questions for parents to be able to find resources or support. I'm a firm believer it starts with one person, and you'll be surprised how many people come out of the woodwork. When one person takes a stand and says enough is enough and something's got to change, more people will come and help you through this.
When Tanya started this, I was like, yeah, this is cool, you know. She's doing something. She is making a difference.
My mom got a phone call from a group of people saying that your son is a fag and we're coming to kill him.
My heart stopped. Those are words that haunt me forever. So I sent my daughter and my cousin to go get Jacob because the police were coming. And so that evening, you know, the police took the report, and they were able to find out who these people were. And they're actually peers of Jacob's. They wanted to know if we wanted to know who they were. And so in our family, we're firm believers that everyone deserves a second chance. I don't think, in all honesty, that I could walk into Walmart or to the grocery store and I could see these kids or their parents without honestly saying something. And again, everyone deserves a second chance. So we told them that we didn't want to know who it was.
The night that we had the death threat, Jacob called me bawling, and I remember sitting on the phone with him for like an hour and a half, crying with him, and just saying that I was there for him. And it really hit me, like, I really need to step it up and be a better sister and support him.
If they're willing to go and say this kind of crap, I mean, what are they going to say to him at school?
He was telling people how he was afraid to walk through the hallways at school, which killed me. So I was trying to find people to walk with him.
It was just hard watching everything that transpired.
And I don't understand why people would threaten to kill him because he's gay. Nobody's going to kill somebody for being straight.
I still pass out flyers, and I still have my phone number out there, and anybody can call me. And if for some reason they need help, I have phone numbers that I can provide to them for help. Just because we had this horrific person call and threaten my son's life doesn't mean that everyone else needs to be punished for that.
There was one incident after the death threat and after the Facebook post, I held the pill bottle in my hand, I looked at it, and then as I was looking in the mirror, I saw my mom's van coming up the gravel road. So then I threw it all back in the cupboard, and I just acted like nothing happened.
I had to come home from work early, and I can't remember why, but I left my office early. And so I come home, and I walk into the house, and Jacob's there, and he's kind of quiet and didn't say too much. There was a while there I didn't want to leave Jacob alone. because I was scared that if I left that I wouldn't have a son when I came back home. And there's still a part of me to this very day that if Jacob comes home and he's scared, or if he's upset and he doesn't want to talk to me, I still have that sinking feeling in me.
Those scars still stand with me. I still get flashes of that pill bottle.
Throughout the course of this time, I had emails sent to me, and I had kids who opened their heart and had written about how they thought about committing suicide because they were bullied. To be able to have all these people come forward and write to me and tell me that, that they had a similar situation and it wasn't just what was happening with my son was pretty intense. I also had parents write to me and tell me that they thought that I was a sinner, that I was a horrible person because of what I was doing, that I supported my son's homosexuality, that I raised a fuss in Tipton, that I should just let things be, there wasn't a problem here in town, that I was disgraced to the community, that I am not welcomed here. At first it did hurt, and then I had to look at it, well, they have a right to their opinion. But the only thing I want to say about that is this: they don't know my son. They don't have a right to say that he is disgraced, that I am a sinner, or that I am a horrible mom because I support my son who is gay. I support my son because he is my son, and he is somebody that I love unconditionally, and that I will do anything I possibly can to protect him. But I also do anything I possibly can to protect another child.
It isn't easy walking in her shoes. People have been very critical of the things she's done, and we're just real proud of her.
They don't have a right to say those things as far as that I'm a sinner or that I'm a disgrace, because a disgrace is when a mom doesn't do something. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. You guys awake? Mostly. Well, my name is Tanya McAtee, and I'm Jake's mom. And about a year and a half ago, Jake was bullied over his sexual orientation. One evening we sat down and we decided to watch the movie Bully. And by the end of the movie, I don't think there was a dry eye. And this was something that was very important to me. And I thought, well, how can I become more involved with that? So I reached out to the headquarters in New York and told them our story as well, and became a regional leader for the state of Iowa. And so now, with that, I go around to events, go to schools, try to get into the school system to show the movie Bully, to talk about our experience personally, how they can become more involved, to raise awareness, and to get it out there. Everybody in life has purposes, and my purpose is my 3 kids. I respect them and I care for them so much.
No matter what they do, pass or fail, she's right there with them.
She is the one who really helped Jacob through this and really made the difference. She started all that.
Tanya, 25 years ago, is a different Tanya than Tanya the mom. She's her acceptance of everybody has grown so much through her children.
I think Jake and I, we have a close relationship. It's not just a mother-son relationship, but it's also a friendship too.
There is a special bond between the two of them. You see it.
I think that connection started day one in that delivery room. It started, and it's only grown since then.
What my mom does for me puts me into a position where I can succeed.
If there will happen something to Jacob, he always will have his mom to be there for him, and she's always there for him no matter what happens between them, and I really respect that.
When Tanya found out what was going on, she stood up and went right to the problem, went to the school, and she has been behind Jake 100%. And when Jake came out, it was like, it wasn't a big thing to her. It wasn't, oh my God, it wasn't life-shattering. It was just, she accepted Jake for who he is.
The teachers seem to be more involved with the bullying aspect. There's a procedure that needs to be done.